of the benefits of going through an umbrella company while working in the UK is the ability to claim for expenses. But how do you find out if and how much you are entitled to claim for? Firstly, it is important to identify that there are two types of expenses. Those that the end client agreed to be billed for and reimbursed to you, sometimes referred to as billable expenses, and those that are covered within the rate billed to the employment agency. Secondly, it is important to identify whether you are able to break expenses out of the rate billed to the agency so they can be reimbursed free of income tax and national insurance. If you are working on a temporary to permanent contract, working on a temporary basis in between two permanent roles, working in between college or university terms, working on a final assignment before retiring, considering working with iPay for one assignment only, considering moving to iPay to get around the 24-month rule, then you will not be able to have any expenses reimbursed for travel to and from a client site, including subsistence. Assuming that you are able to claim expenses and/or are being paid expenses by the end client, you will simply need to follow our expense process. This is simple and governed by our agreement with HMRC. If the expenses are to be billed to the end client and you are being reimbursed for them, we will need a copy of the client's claim form and all supporting receipts. Sending a claim form to the client or agency and not to us may result in those expenses being taxed. If the end client is not being billed for the expenses, then we will need you to complete one of our claim forms provided as part of the welcome procedure, together with the supporting receipts when requested. So what can you claim for? If you are using your car or van to travel from your permanent home to the client site each day, you could claim the cost of travel to and from the end user client site, 45 pence per mile, or the actual cost if you use public transport. If you are away from home for more than 5 hours, you are entitled to a £6 meal allowance. If you are away from home for more than 10 hours, you're entitled to a £12 meal allowance. If you pay for parking or use a toll road, then the actual cost can be claimed. If you are required to stay away from your permanent home and stay in temporary accommodation during the working week but return home regularly, you could claim the cost of travel from your permanent home to your temporary accommodation and return, the cost of the temporary accommodation and any ancillary bills, the cost of travel from your temporary accommodation to the end user client site and back, the cost of daily meals for each day worked and your evening meal, for a total daily meal allowance of £25, an incidental allowance for each day worked of £5. Other expenses that you may be able to claim are essential tools, professional subscriptions, protective clothing, PPE. This is not an exhaustive list, but the most common items our employees claim. Information on completing the expense claim form and guidance is available from your account manager and/or the Quick Start Guide, which you can download from our website www.ipay.com directly on your PC, tablet or smartphone. Here are our top 10 tips to avoid disappointment. Put your name on the claim form and, if known, your iPay employee number. At the bottom of the form, tick the statements that are relevant to you. Complete the mileage log. Enter your car registration number. Attach all receipts that are required in support of the claims. Submit the claim forms as soon as you can. Don't claim expenses that are clearly personal or may be used for business and/or personal use. Don't seek to claim excessive amounts of mileage. Our systems do provide a comparative distance check. Use electronic delivery methods if possible. We are not responsible for postal delays. If you do post them, then make sure you put the correct postage on. If you don't, they get held until we pay the ransom. If you have any questions or would like to sign up with iPay, call us now.